Alright, so my August psychic prediction video turned out to have a lot of events that were kind of historical. So I'm going to go over kind of the psychic reading or the psychic predictions that I made and kind of what happened. So, in the news, August 2021. First of all, there were some floods in Tennessee that killed 22 people, and this was earlier in the month. I did talk about how there were going to be floods, unfortunately, and like possible earthquakes and lots of earth changes. And I think that that's definitely what happened for the month of August. Um, it was pretty brutal. There was a tropical storm Henri in New York City that caused 5 inches of water, more than 100,000 Americans without power. Again, this was kind of earlier in the month than the last week of the month, where there was um, another storm that hit the U.S. What was that? Let me see here. That was New Orleans Hurricane Ida, which was called the worst storm in over a decade. It caused flooding. Almost 2 million without power is what the news was saying. Limited phone service. The street lights went out. And I'm sure you probably watched that on the news. That was pretty rough. Um, Again, it was a crazy month. Hospitals overwhelmed by coronavirus again. Afghanistan. So I did say there was going to be a new threat coming, and I also said there's going to be government infrastructure fail, or like the government's infrastructure was going to fail on some level, and like that definitely happened. A lot of power outages for sure. The whole cities are just destroyed from all these storms. Not only that, but there's this new threat to the United States. I also saw Joe Biden. I said he was looking at his watch, waiting for something to happen that didn't really ever happen, and that he wouldn't be crushed. Like he would be able to continue on, but on some level it would destroy him, but it wouldn't like destroy him permanently. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Afghanistan or the Taliban took over Afghanistan. The president of the country ran away. Um, I did say that I saw um, like a vision of like walls being erected, and there being like dinosaurs like throwing people out. And I think that has to do kind of with what's going on behind the scenes of the government, but it could also be about all the different countries kind of, well, putting up their borders and kicking people out that aren't part of their system. That could be Afghanistan. But I think ultimately that is something that's going on kind of behind the scenes within the world powers as a whole, bigger than Afghanistan. Um, sure enough, Joe Biden's ratings have gone down. There's a lot of criticism of him. Um, I was saying that there was going to be that these like kind of these walls going up are a protective barrier for the elite, so to speak, those in power, and that there's going to be a lot of kind of systems crumbling and people being exposed. And there's been some stuff about Prince Andrew is being sued by one of his accusers of human trafficking with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislain Maxwell. There's also some sexual harassment charges against Andrew Cuomo, where he had to step down and resign. So there's a lot of this like erosion, and so there's like these walls being put up behind the scenes that I don't even think anybody really knows about. It's kind of self-defense that wasn't I said it wasn't working with Biden, and you saw Biden kind of got burned, so he wasn't really within those castle walls. So it's a bigger thing than just Biden. Um, there was a new 1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that's trying to be passed. That's 1.2 trillion. That's 13 digits. That's 1 billion times 1,000. Just to give you an idea, 1 billion times 1,000 is 1 trillion. So that's how much money going towards infrastructure, which is also being destroyed by all these natural disasters. Did I mention the earthquake? I don't think I mentioned the earthquake. That's right. I also said in the video that I saw shaking, and I wasn't sure if this shaking was like a literal earthquake or if it was the energy that's just like chaos energy. And I think it was both, like I said in the video. And sure enough, Haiti, there was a 7.2 magnitude earthquake that killed over 2,000 people in that country. So they're having it pretty rough. It's kind of funny because in the previous prediction, monthly psychic prediction, I talked about presidents, falling, and then there was the Haiti president assassinated, and then even worse now, 2,000 people die in a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. So they're being hit pretty hard. And I was kind of theorizing more of a theoretical thing in the video where I was talking about how there could be some, like, something being exposed, and I was saying with a new threat to the United States, and that has to do more with Afghanistan. But I was theorizing that there could potentially be some sort of UFO, now they're called UAP, disclosure of some sort. That didn't quite happen, but interestingly enough, Bloomberg News did put out this video that's about how there are scientists working on technology to use time-space to move potentially a ship through space. Here, I'll read a quote from it. They said, "There's no burnt-up fuel. There's nothing being shot out of a tailpipe. It's the gravitational field that actually will propel this thing forward." Of course, this is theoretical, and some studies have shown that it doesn't work, while other studies have shown that it does work. But just the fact that it's being put out in the public, that's a change. That's not normally what people put out in the news. That used to be stuff that people would scoff at, but now they're actually talking seriously about it. So that's definitely a change of narrative, I would say. So that's about it. I just wanted to go over just the validations of that video, and that was it's a crazy month. I think next month is going to be a lot nicer. I just recorded a reading or a psychic prediction video for the month of September 2021. If you want to watch that, make sure to watch that. It's much more positive. I think things will be going in a much better direction from here. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.